What I'm here this morning to talk about is East Kern. And could you look in your crystal ball and tell us what's going to happen in East Kern over the next few years?
Well, first of all, I think East Kern is alive and well, and that the communities in East Kern, going from Boron to Ridgecrest to Tehachapi to Roseman, have all come together for the benefit of looking at increased economic growth and development for job creation.
And how is the brand for East Kern going to read? What brand type have these entities decided on?
Basically, innovation, where it's happening, what's happening, how it's happening, how it is being stimulated by private and public sector, with small businesses and large corporations participating in wind, solar, energy, aviation, space, and then bread and butter manufacturing, distribution. I think residential development is on hold right now until the economy bounces back, since we have a backlog of homes that are either going through foreclosure or will be in foreclosure. And once those have been reduced, then you'll start some new construction. Communities in both California City, Mojave, ourselves, Roseman, Tehachapi, and all have track maps that have been approved by Kern County or by the three cities themselves with their own planning functions. There is sufficient water in each of the communities for construction and for future growth in a responsive way. And once the economy starts to come back and we're successful in creating additional job employment, you'll see more residential and commercial growth.
There's been talk about splitting off some parts of East Kern from the Antelope Valley East Kern Water Association. Is that a good idea?
I think at the time it was discussed, it was a idea that needed merit for looking into. We were having some difficulties with dealing with AVEC in reference to their philosophies and ideas of how to provide water for East Kern. But in the past 6 months, with a new general manager, Dan Flores, and working with the board, we've been able to resolve those and been able to work together on water banking projects and other activities that we think will be able to increase the ability for distribution, solve the THM chloramine problems, and actually facilitate actively storage of new water for water banking, both in Kern and in AVEX banks.
Distribution of water in East Kern to such big entities as Rio Tinto and the emerging spaceport. How much water are they going to need over the long term? Can AVEX supply that much water?
Well, currently Rio Tinto has a requirement of about 3,000 acre-feet of water, of which 1,800 of it is coming from AVAC, assuming they have their allocations through the State Water Project, and the balance of water, anywhere from 1,200 up to 1,500 acre-feet, either comes from groundwater or Rio Tinto would then contract us to try to find additional waters. The idea is to try to bring in new water to the area if we can obtain it, in order to protect the groundwater that we have through the adjudication.
Of those industries, if you had a priority, which would be the top? Would it be aerospace, or space, or would it be renewable energy? Which are the top two rankings in your opinion?
Well, I think aerospace, basically the commercial aspects of it that are being done at Mojave Aerospace Center, and then your renewable energies, both solar and wind. They both are adding economic value, jobs, and long-term solution to provide resources since we need to go have 20% of the state's allocations by 2020. CE or Southern Cal Edison, along with PG&E, are working very closely to make sure that we have the ability to get on the grid and to transmit energy once we're able to develop it.
Within the last 2 years, there's been a very concerted effort to brand East Kern, and that's been funded by RCSD and other entities. How is that progressing?
Well, we funded approximately $75,000 the first year to do the analysis in order to determine, develop a new website and branding and marketing materials. The second year, we will have probably a budget of about $40,000 to actually implement it from the areas. The different participants include Ridgecrest, Tehachapi, Cal City, Mojave Airport, Rio Tinto, ourselves, and others, coming together, both public and private sector, working with Kern Economic Development Corporation, and also with GAVIA, the Greater Antelope Valley Economic Development Alliance, together. So literally we have two professional organizations working together in concert to try to assist us to establish what industries would be best located based on our resources and employment and education opportunities, and then to identify how we could actually recruit them with the energy, the mining, and also the aerospace commercial markets.
Well, so your crystal ball says that with land and water, East Kern being near such a huge metropolitan area as Los Angeles, that the economic outlook is pretty bright.
I think it's very positive for the future. With water, we need to continue in conservation, obtain additional water resources coming in water bank for the future, will allow growth. As far as land, we have a natural location for distribution centers with rail, highway, and air traffic. And then due to our natural setting with mining and both with the Rio Tinto or US Borax and with Golden Queen, mining is going to continue to be very important to the area. And then finally, with solar and wind, due to the geographic locations with the sun and the wind coming into it, East Kern is a natural to develop both solar and wind energy projects for renewable energy.
So, rather than go back to Tennessee, where you hail from, why don't you stay here?
Well, I turned 73 and I was able to beat cancer in the throat this past 6 months. So I got grandchildren and great grandchildren on the way, and unfortunately they're all east of the Mississippi. So I think that I've been here since '88, in California since '83, and I think it's time to now to let other people have the opportunity for great advancement and letting them carry on in the future. And I'm just happy that my wife and I have enjoyed some 30 years out in California to participate and met a lot of great friends, and I can feel that we were able to help plant some seeds where the fruits of the previous time will venture into positive growth for the East Kern and Kern County area.
Well, good. On the behalf of everybody that has to stay here and not go back to Tennessee, where it's green, thank you for helping build the foundation.
Well, I appreciate being here, participating, and we will be sure to come back and check and see how everything's going.